Okay, so this is the very first hatch I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making a quadruple damage pet with Mighty for death with a +5 Fossil Avengers set. That will make my death have an extra 38 damage. I'm doing it just purely for fun, because my death needs a 33 damage pet, and also 33 plus 5 is the most damage death could possibly get, and might as well have it. So this is the very first hatch. What I've done is I've straight from the pack where I've gotten an adult Scratchy Frillasaur. I've trained it to adult, and that's it. We have an adult Scratchy Frillasaur. I'm going to be hatching it with this 420 that I made, and say it was a 420 from the kiosk. I'd have to have a wow factor 10 420 because it's kind of hard to get these Scratchy Frillasaurs back. You have about a 75% chance of getting the frills back, and about a 25% chance of getting the Beguiled Gargoyle back. So here what we need to do is we need this Frillasaur to have perfect stats and an easy to track pool. So if this were a kiosk pet, Optio Rolf on the right, it would be the exact same, but I'm just doing it. I made my own, so it's cheap. I'm going to be hatching with this Optio Rolf until I get 420 stats. And here's hatch number 1. Let's see if we can get it. Evanescent egg, that means we've gotten this Scratchy. Hooray. So what we want is better stats and a better pool. Twitchy Lucky. So that also means this Riley can be unlocked and Riley can be let go. Because I know for a fact that no matter what, when I'm making a 420, this one's going to be better. Super cheap hatching. Let's see what we got. So, as far as pools go, not very good. Got a lot of commons. Quite a few commons, actually. So, we're on great progress already to get the commons. Stats-wise, it looked like none of them went to max. All of them were halved. So, I'll come back later and show you the next hatch. Okay, here comes hatch number 2. Here's the pet we had from before, trained it up to adult. Still going for perfect stats and perfect common pools so far. Not great, but we're hoping for an evanescent egg. Wow, we've won 2 3 out of 4s twice in a row. Awesome. So this means now Twitchy Lucky is no longer needed. Centurion Cosmo is the one we are taking. Let's inspect this bad boy. Perfect strength. Everywhere else, the commons are looking really nice. We're already getting close to 420. A couple more in the derby and a couple more in there. So I'll be right back after I train this thing to adult and get ready to hatch for the next one. So here we are for hatch number 3 to getting a 420. We already have strength locked down. We need the rest of the other stats and more commons. So here we go, hoping for an evanescent egg yet again. We are 3 for 3 out of 3 for 4s, so that's pretty impressive. So that means we can ditch Centurion Cosmo and pick up King Bailey. Let's see what we got. Getting closer to 420. 7 more. So there's 1 and then 6 more in here. 3, 7. There we go. So 3 more talents need to go. And looking at the stats, actually, we are getting really darn close to perfect 2.0 stats. We have perfect strength, perfect agility, perfect will. Power needs to get to 250. Intellect needs to go to 250. But intellect is one, if it doesn't get to max, you won't be all too upset about, because intellect is the dumbest talent of all time for anything other than actual derby races. And nobody does derby racing in Wizard101. So a few more hatches and we'll have a 2.0. Here comes hatch number 4. Like I said before, we have good stats, decent on the talent pool. Let's hope for an evanescent egg yet again. Oh boy, we're 4 for 4 on getting that correct egg back. This is the power of the Beguiled Gargoyle. Odds of getting the egg you need is a lot higher than if you're using like a Piggle or blood bats. So I do highly recommend the Gargoyle. That means King Bailey is now gonzo for this baby Fuzzy Taz. So goodbye, King Bailey. Let's see what Fuzzy Taz has. Okay, well, this talent pool is completely common, which is amazing. We could start hatching with the kiosk if we really wanted to, but I'm trying to show good hatching abilities here. So we're going to keep going until we get complete 420 on the talents. Then we're also going to keep going until we have perfect intellect and perfect power. It will be painful, but we are going to do it to show the better hatching process. I'll be right back for hatch number 5. Okay, here comes hatch number 5. Still looking for perfect stats. We already have a full common this pool, but we still need a couple of more commons here on the right hand side on the derby. So we're going to go until that's common and we get perfect stats. Here's hatch number 5. Evanescent egg, 5 for 5 so far. 3/4 5 times in a row is pretty ridiculous to get it back every time, but Fuzzy Taz is now gone, and it is a 420 already. All we're needing now is stats, which is brilliant. If you wanted to, once you get 420, or if you get full stats, you could just start sending with the pet you want, but I'm still showing the good hatching basics here. We need to get perfect stats, perfect common pool. And this is so painful because the power and the intellect hasn't moved in 2 hatches. But now that we have full common everywhere, super easy to track everything. We just need the stats now. So I'll be back when we have stats. Maybe in our 6th hatch, maybe in our 7th. We'll find out. Okay, here comes hatch number 6. So now at this point, all we are looking for is perfect intellect and perfect power. Should happen pretty quickly because all of the talents are all 420, all commons, and they should be all the same. So literally the only thing the game has to worry about copying over is the intellect and the power. So let's see if we can get the egg. And 6 for 6 on the eggs. Again, I can't stress how good Beguiled Gargoyle is, but it is brilliant. Tiny Brutus is gone. Prince Shelby stays because Brutus does not have perfect stats, and that's what we're here for. Oof. So looks like intellect and power have not copied, and instead they had like halfway between what the baby and the adult was, which is what happens a lot. But we have to go again. We have to go ahead and keep hatching until we get that stat to 250 and the other stat to 250, power and intellect. So I'll get back to you when that happens. So here is hatch number 7. One can hope again that we're going to get good intellect, will, and the egg, but 7 for 7 for this hatch session with all evanescent eggs. Pretty insane. So Shaggy Muffin, what do you have for us? Yes, let's go. At this point, I'm going to call that a success because I'm not going to care about the intellect. Once I hatch from the kiosk with pets that do have perfect intellect, at some point I'm going to get an egg that does have perfect intellect. Now that, I know I said I'd be a perfectly good hatcher, but 246 is 4 away from 250 and it doesn't even matter anyway. So that's our base 420. Perfect. Brilliant. Shaggy Muffin is locked and it's staying forever. At this point, you keep that thing forever, right? 7 hatches, 420. Beautiful. So, quick little side note as to why intellect on pets in Wizard101 doesn't matter, in my opinion, is it's just for damage, resist, and like healing talents in PvE era of Wizard101. Intellect does not affect any of that, and I don't even know if it even affects Maycasts or anything like that. So I'm not going to worry about getting that to 250. So far this pet is good to go, and I think I'm ready to make another video on how to copy a pet's pool and then up the odds of making the pet have the talents you want. And that video will come out whenever I have hatch timers and I have the will to make these pets, because sometimes they do get a little ridiculous. It took 7 hatches to get the 420 and nearly 2.0 stats, perfect stats. And apart from that, I'll get back to you guys when I'm doing that.